Hey everyone, what's up? It's Peter Bush from Flawless. So excited to bring this video content to you today. We talk all the time about what DeepEditor can do, and today I'm going to talk actually more specifically about what DeepEditor can't do. And this is coming from the overwhelming amount of interest and demand and people wanting to try out the product and adopt it into their productions. And so these are the 6 most common things that we get asked that we don't really do. You'll see there's a couple asterisks here. And so as we get into the video, let's talk about some of the main things that we're getting asked about backgrounds, background removal, background creation, generative background creation. Really, we talk about the face and we generate the face. So the generative part of what we do is reanimating faces and articulating new lines of dialogue or localization. We do not do background removal. We will only replace the background around the face to paint out the original jaw and things like that, but we are fundamentally not a background removal tool. Other common question is video cleanup. We do not do any degraining, denoising, color correction, image restoration, image upscaling. There's plenty of commercially available tools. We are just not one of those. Really common question, because we do things with the face. Common question is face replacement, full CG face replacement, face swapping, vanity work, digital makeup. None of those things are what DeepEditor does. These are things that obviously can be done with other methods and other tools, but fundamentally is not the main use case for DeepEditor. Animation, probably get asked that every single week. Obviously, animation is great content that travels. That is my personal background. I'm going to put an asterisk on this one, and I'll tell you a little bit more why. Generative video, we are not an LLM. We're not a prompt-based tool. You're not going to enter a prompt and get out a different scene or a different line of dialogue or anything like that. So we fundamentally are not a generative video tool. I'm going to put an asterisk on that as well, because we do get questions we can answer and encourage you to sort of look at the products the right way. The other big thing, generative audio or synthetic audio. We get asked all the time, or the assumption is what comes out of our product for like localization purposes is localized audio, and we're actually transcribing and generating new audio under the back end. We do not do that. Fundamentally, we are affecting only the picture, but again, an asterisk, let me explain why. So in those few categories that I put the asterisks on, animation. Now, fundamentally, our models are trained on human faces and human footage. And so under the hood, there is no animated footage. However, because our robustness is so high, if your animated content has humanoid faces, we're not talking horses or alligators or some looking alien or something like that. If you have humanoid faces, I would encourage you to try out DeepEditor and see if this is a tool that may make sense for you. Just to be crystal clear, we don't reanimate rigs or anything like that you may be curious about. We're only affecting the image. So if you want to change a line of dialogue or maybe use this for short form content or localize an ad that has human characters, there's a lot of cool tools out there, whether it's Unreal's MetaHuman Animator that obviously has a very realistic look to it. I'd encourage you to try it out. That's my sort of default position, but understand under the hood, we're not expecting that. We're expecting human faces. So feel free to explore that with humanoid characters. Now, generative video. Week by week, we see new tools that are breaking onto the market, creating remarkably impressive video that, now we're seeing talking videos and things like that. Fundamentally, that's not what DeepEditor or what Flawless does. We are working with live action footage and human actors. But again, we encourage you to try out whatever results you're getting in whatever generative tool that you're using and put that through DeepEditor. One of the big things I will call out is we fundamentally are creating human speech. And so if your video has an actor or a person in it that is not speaking, we have no idea what the interior of their mouth looks like. So when you're adding training data, if you're using generative content, make sure to create some sort of speaking motion so we can see what that person's teeth and what their interior of their mouth look like, so that when we're reanimating or putting in a new line of dialogue, it's a lot more accurate. It's going to look more natural and believable. So we encourage you to try that out. It is not our primary use case. And again, we do not generate video from prompts or things like that. We've actually got a few funny inquiries where people filled out our contact form and put a prompt in the contact form. Just not what we do. And lastly, synthetic audio. We do not generate audio. We don't actually process the audio. The only thing we really do is take the waveform and generate new mouth movements from that. But the output of DeepEditor is an image or a movie file. We get asked all the time, will your technology work with audio that's coming from the tools you see on screen, the 11 Labs, Deep Dubs, Respeechers? There's a lot of great tools that are coming to market. Technically speaking, our tool needs audio in waveforms. And so the technology will work to produce content. We've seen a few studios that are wanting to use synthetic in the drafting phase, to use draft tokens to sort of create proxy new lines of dialogue or new jokes, just to see, does this line work before we bring talent back in and record this. It's a fantastic use case. It's something that we encourage teams to do. We don't generate audio, but there's plenty of good tools that you guys are probably aware of that do. And so that concludes the What We Don't Do video. Hopefully this was really informative, and we encourage you to try out a trial of DeepEditor today. Thanks.